Most people think winter means the garden is done, but not here. I just built a raised bed that will keep feeding my family all year long. For the last 5 years, our biggest goal has been becoming more self-sufficient, and growing food right outside our front door is the best way to do it. No chemicals, no pesticides, and no relying on the grocery store. The secret? Creating a microclimate. I've learned the only way to protect your crops from pests and keep food growing through the cold months is with insect netting, frost coverings, and greenhouse plastic. And this new raised bed system from Vego makes that simple for any small home grower. In this video, I'll show you exactly how we set it up, why it matters if you want to grow food year-round, and what cold hardy crops we're planting to feed our family through winter. Stick around. If you've ever wondered how to grow food all year long, this one's for you. And stay tuned to the end where I'll share tips on how to keep your crops thriving throughout the winter using a frost covering. And a quick thank you to Vego for sponsoring today's video. In the past, I've spent a lot of money building low tunnels to keep my market garden producing year-round on a budget. And while it worked, it was also a lot of work to manage. A lot of plastic, a lot of covering, and honestly, a lot of time. But here's the thing, most people watching this don't have a market garden. You just want a reliable way to care for a small garden for your family. That's where this Vego raised bed with the greenhouse cover comes in. It's basically like having a small high tunnel without all the hassle of managing one. Most people don't need a big high tunnel unless they're growing commercially, so for the small home grower, this could be the best option. I'll be honest, I've tried being frugal in the past. I've built wooden raised beds to save money. But as I've gotten older, I've realized the value of investing upfront in something that lasts. A wooden bed will break down eventually, rot, and need replacing. This Vego raised bed is designed to last 20 plus years, and it saves me all that rebuilding work. Plus, it's beautiful. This olive green is basically a piece of art right in front of our home. And putting it right here in front of our house makes it as simple as possible to use every day. So here's how we set it up. We removed the pieces from the package, followed the instructions, and put together the largest size this design allows, 2.5 feet wide by 9.5 feet long. Vego calls this their 10-in-1 design because you can build it in 10 different configurations. We wanted to use the biggest one so we could maximize space for winter growing.
Got these two ready. Thank you. Oop.
With the bed built, the next step is filling it with soil. For winter growing, I use a rich compost mix that drains well, but still holds warmth. That's really important when temperatures drop. Healthy soil acts like insulation for the roots. Now, with a deeper raised bed like this one, that's 17 inches deep, I'm going to utilize a method called hugelkultur to fill the raised bed. This is a method where you would create mounds in the ground with logs on the bottom and layers of materials on top, leading to that top layer of soil. And over time, those bottom logs and layers will decompose and feed the soil, creating this closed-loop system. What this method also allows us to do for any raised bed is fill the bed with far less soil. After I piled logs and sticks on the bottom, I only needed to fill the upper half of the bed with soil, saving me lots of money. Another money-saving tip on soil would be to go to any big box store right now and look for deals on bags of soil, because most of them are likely trying to sell their remaining bags and stock from summer, and you will definitely find bags of soil on sale right now. At my local Tractor Supply, certain brands were buy one, get one half off, and deals like that you just can't pass up on. Now, what do you actually plant if you want food all winter? The key is focusing on cold hardy crops, plants that can handle frost and even snow once they're established. These are the backbone of a winter garden. But timing is super important with these crops. Some of my favorite cold hardy crops to grow throughout the winter are spinach, kale, lettuce, and carrots. These crops don't just survive winter, they actually get better. Carrots and spinach, for example, turn sweeter after frost. That means you're not just scraping by with food in the cold months, you're actually enjoying some of the best flavors of the whole year. It is too late to plant carrots right now, however. They would have needed to be planted in early August for harvest in the fall. So I'm going to focus on quicker growing greens that can withstand the brutal cold winter. That's going to be a mix of kale, lettuce, spinach, Tokyo bacana, Asian greens, and mustard greens. These will all be able to survive the winter and feed us during the coldest days of the year. The positioning of the raised bed is crucial too. As this bed faces south, it will quickly heat up on sunny days after freezing nights. And the beauty of this raised bed and cover is that it acts like a mini high tunnel. It traps warmth, blocks wind, and keeps everything protected, so these crops keep producing right outside our front door. Once I got all the plants in the soil, I started setting up the frost covering attachment. I wasn't quite sure what to expect from the package when I received it, as I'm often not the best at following directions, but this was a relatively easy process to put together and did not take longer than 30 minutes. All of the pieces are securely attached to the metal raised bed all the way around, and once I attached the cross pieces, creating a hoop tunnel shape, it really had some nice solid rigidity. Once all the pieces were connected, all I had to do was slide over top the greenhouse covering. This was perfectly sized to fit over the hoops. I can't overstate how perfectly this covering fit, and it looks fantastic. There are a few key features that I really like. As someone who has bought cheap greenhouse coverings before for my own DIY projects, I really like how they included Velcro straps along the bottom sides of the plastic so that you could tighten the covering to your metal raised bed, eliminating any loose sagging spots where wind might want to get under and blow it away. And trust me, I've learned from experience that you need to keep these tunnels closed tight during windstorms. I also really appreciated how easy it was to zip open the tunnel from the front and the back, allowing for easy access to your crops. They even make it super simple when opening one of the sides and putting more Velcro on the top where they can stick so you don't have to hold the flap open. They will stay open once you Velcro the flap to the top of the plastic. I can't tell you how excited I was to have that feature because I have another greenhouse that doesn't have that, and every time I open it and want to keep it open, I can't, and it just flaps all over the place, especially in the wind. So this feature is really nice. And once you put one side of the tunnel up, there's another piece of Velcro to attach the back side opening if you wanted to vent both sides and keep them both open for really good airflow, and that will stay up as well. In the end, you have this highly functional, beautiful raised bed that can grow food for your family all year long right outside your front door. I love this thing. If you've never grown anything inside of a tunnel before, and I hadn't either before last season, there is a bit of a learning curve. What I learned is that while you might think that it's cold and you should keep your plants bundled up and closed up inside the tunnel constantly, that isn't what you should do at all. Last year I kept my tunnels closed and barely opened them or vented them. What happened as a result is I created a super microclimate inside that made all the insects and pests that would have died outside the tunnel a safe haven to stay alive, and ended up eating all of my crops inside the tunnels. As for timing your plantings for winter, this is probably the most important thing. For my climate in central Pennsylvania, I need to have these seeds started by early October or even mid-September in trays in order to have them ready to plant in October. If you plant these too late, they won't have much time to grow before next year. If you want to be able to harvest greens when it's cold, they need to have gotten off to a good start. And to be honest, these plants I started in the video today look a bit root bound, and they may have been in these trays longer than they should have been because I wasn't ready to plant them. But they are still alive, they just might take a little bit longer to take off and start growing. Also, your plants are resilient, and if you're already planting cold hardy crops, they can handle freezing temperatures. And the best way to acclimate your crops to the cold is to slowly let them develop their defenses naturally. That means keeping the sides of the tunnel open even at night as the temperature slowly starts to drop, so those plants can adjust. When you get down to really low temperatures, you will want to definitely cover the plants overnight, but for the most part, you will want to keep the tunnel vented, especially during the late fall period where we still have some warm days. The last thing you want is to have insects eating up all your winter greens that are trapped inside of a tunnel. So now the bed is planted, and this simple setup means fresh food all winter long. But what excites me most is what this represents. one step closer to being truly self-sufficient, right outside our home, year-round. I love this thing. It actually feels like part of the decor of our home already. If you would like to get one of these raised beds for yourself, you can use my code OnceUponATinyFarm 10 off to get $10 off your purchase right now at Vego's store. And you can click the link below to check them out for yourself.
Am I here?
I don't remember this being part of the order. I'm gonna have to send a message to the company.
Why?
Ah!